First of all, how's everyone doing today? I'm excited to be here. I just feel good, and I feel creative, and I feel like I'm getting more and more vision on how to channel my creativity. And I think it's a never-ending process, but I definitely had some really good breakthroughs in the past few weeks. So I'm excited to share those with you guys. You'll see more output on this channel, and link with me on Instagram if you're not already, and if you're on Instagram, to kind of keep in touch, a little bit further on more of the personal or casual things. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the difference between these two things. I'm using these really cool filled cases here from Teenage Engineering. And of course, inside the smaller one, we have the Teenage Engineering OP-Z, which we're going to talk a little bit about. And then, of course, in the larger filled bag, we have the Teenage Engineering OP-1. And I don't know, I just felt like I wanted to make this video, and I think there's information that I'm going to be sharing right now on my channel and certainly online in different places, but I wanted to make one video kind of just talking about a current snapshot from my perspective on how I'm using these two, what the differences between the two of them are, and maybe even open up a dialogue below in terms of if you guys have any questions or anything like that. We can just kind of keep the conversation going. All right. Again, okay, everything is recording. So one thing about this camera, I'm using the Nikon camera here, the Nikon Z6, and I just wish that there was a way for me on the other side to see that everything is doing what it's supposed to be doing. So like there's a cantilever, angle on the LCD on the back, but you can't turn it around, so it's not really meant for that vlogging kind of style. I'm not sure if the new Z2, like the Z6 or Z5 and Z7, the second iteration of them, I'm not sure if they have that feature or not, but I know that that's something that would, like if I had a screen right next to this, which showed me that I was recording, and also maybe even showed me the audio levels to indicate that I see that my microphone is plugged in, so audio levels are telling me that it's picking up audio. I wouldn't have to get up and look over there, but that's neither here nor there. That's not what we're talking about in today's video, right? We're talking about these two pieces of equipment. And I don't have anything specific prepared that I've thought about. I just want to kind of just talk a little bit and just be casual about the information that I'm going to try to share with you guys here. So the OP-Z is the first piece of equipment that I purchased from Teenage Engineering. Okay, it was $600, $599, and I used it a lot, extensively, when I first received it after learning how to use it, and I made what I consider just really remarkable and intricate and interesting and I don't know, great sounding and just really good music on here that I love performing with, that I love listening to myself. I've been bringing it into the car lately with an aux cable and just jamming out in the car, before coming home or something, and just now literally in a parking spot, and even posting some of that on Instagram. And I just really, really think this is just what's the word? Underrated. I think the OP-Z is underrated. I think there's a lot of people out there who haven't checked it out yet that I think should check it out, because the stuff you're able to do on something that's so unassuming and not nearly as close to the level of acclaim that the OP-1 has, it's really breathtaking. And I mean, some of the things that I love doing on it are using the master track to change the key of whatever's being played. So just thinking about what that means is you can have something very basic going on, and then you can just change it on the next measure by just pressing a key, and it transposes or changes the key of what it is that's being played. And that, coupled with the step components, coupled with I think those, to me personally, those two things in itself make this so basic, but then you can just do so many other things in terms of performing and making your music sound different. Polyrhythm stuff. It's just a really, really incredible sequencer. By far my favorite sequencer. I keep proclaiming that it's the best sequencer ever made or asking if it's the best one. I don't know if that's true or not, but in my opinion, it absolutely is, because anything else that can do anything close to this, which I don't know if there's anything even in that category, it's not small. You can't just put headphones on, like have it in your hand and like jam out at a train station like I've done past, like a few weeks ago. So I love this piece of equipment. If you have questions on it, hit me up, let me know. I would love to, to explain further. If you guys want to know, like, hey, you didn't do a great job explaining why it's amazing, let me know below. I would be happy to elaborate further. But just know that it's worth checking out if you're interested in something that is just truly unique. Okay. I should also say that I created a lot of stuff on here. I mean, everything on here kind of like from scratch, in the sense of like, I don't use this to like plug something else into it or sample. It's like everything was created on here, right? So keep that in mind. Now, when we move to the OP-1 field, when I received this piece of equipment, which was sent to me from Teenage Engineering, I always want to make sure that I'm just completely and utterly honest and truthful and genuine about everything that I'm sharing on this channel. I kind of stopped using the OPZ. I'm like, oh, shiny new piece of equipment, flagship, build quality, all the things that this can do are so different than what that can do, right? So between the two, I'm working on learning how to use this a way that makes sense for me. So someone who's used to sequencing, and like that's my main thing that I spend a lot of time, doing in terms of making music. This has sequencers on it, but overall you're recording to tape, right? You're recording to tape on here, and it's so different for me. And because of that, it's very difficult for me to like use this and create something from scratch, which may or may not be what I should be, focused on at this point, right? Right now, what I'm kind of thinking through with this is like, let me just let this be an exploratory piece of equipment. So when I go to a coffee shop, instead of saying to myself, oh, I need to do this on here, I'd rather say, oh, what do I feel like exploring on here? Maybe today's the day where I want to go on the radio and see what's on there and sample something, which is something I do extensively. Maybe I want to spend some time, checking out the sequencers and like learning how to utilize them in a way that makes sense for what it is that I do. Maybe today's the day where I'm not going to use anything on here, but use this as a Bluetooth keyboard for something like Chord Gadget, which I spent time doing as well, because Chord Gadget is an iOS app that speaks to me. Figuratively, of course, but it really is like the way that I make music. That is like it embodied, for lack of a better term. So I've used it in that case, in certain instances. Maybe I'm going to use these two together and connect both of them to my TX6 mixer, and have this generating like the beats and songs that I made already, and then like improvise over it with like the synth sounds on here. Maybe it's a sound design kind of day where I'm just like turning knobs and not really knowing what I'm doing, but just kind of like finding something that sounds unique and interesting, and then saving that as a preset to use for later use. So I say all that to say, like, I would like this to eventually get to a point where it's like, yo, all I need is just this, right? To like create something from scratch. Lay some drums down using one of the sequencers that I now understand, quickly be able to bring tracks 1, 2, and 3 to track 4, which I'm starting to understand a little bit better now, right? Like there's a resampling mode on here, right? That you could, lay down your kicks and then lay down your snares and lay down your hi-hats on 3 respective tracks. And then bring all of those to track 4, right? And then delete 1, 2, and 3. So now you have like you're systematically adding stuff without having to do all of it on the same track and without having to undo, of course. So that's something that I learned from Sound Technologies. New series that they're doing, which is really cool. Shout out to Matt Milligan, who I had a conversation with on Khordmaster keys. That's not Matt Milligan right there, but I have it playing in the background. I think that would be kind of cool for me to showcase some of the past episodes. So the one that actually is playing back there is a Koala sampler creator, a musician, producer, and just a really gifted individual by the name of Erryon, Erreyon is how you spell his name, and he was a guest not too long ago. I think this is the most recent episode, or one of the 2 most recent episodes that I just dropped And so I want to make sure that pretty much on all of these videos that I talk about my platform, Khordmaster Keys, which is a podcast as it, as it is. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but on YouTube, there's a now podcast section on my channel and others who have podcasts. And that's a big deal for me because it allows me to be able to have just this one channel and not have different channels that I'm managing, which I used to do, which was stressful, and I didn't like it at all. I didn't like having to build two Khordmaster accounts. It didn't make a lot of sense. So back to this, I just think that rather than forcing the issue, I think I've been forcing the issue a little bit with the OP-1 field, to be quite frank. Right now, it's more about exploring and letting things come to me and having meaningful conversations with some of you guys, the folks in the Discord. I don't have your names memorized, but there's a lot of you guys that are really knowledgeable and really just a great community, I must say, saying good morning to each other and providing help, and it's really cool. So I like being a part of that community. I have a video that I'll be dropping soon. I have to actually find, it's like so many things. I have to find the chat from earlier where I asked you guys in that Discord about I think it was what feature would you like to see on the field, if I'm not mistaken, or features, and just kind of talking about like the most requested features from a community of like power users, for lack of a better word, like people who really, really use the products. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. So I encourage you guys, again, if you haven't, check out Khordmaster Keys. There's a playlist on my channel. Find an episode that you enjoy. Drop me a comment underneath it. Let me know, what you liked about the episode or if it resonated with you. There's a lot of ones about teenage engineering that I already released and that will be coming out very soon. And just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If there's any questions, feel free to sound off below in the comments. I try my best to make sure that I respond to every comment. Yeah, I enjoyed making this video and hopefully it resonated with you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, take care. Hey, what's going on, guys? All right, I always get stressed out before videos because I got to make sure, not stressed, but I just got to make sure that that green light is on, that my microphone is turned on, because there's been times where I've recorded like 6 to 8 to 12 minute videos and it wasn't turned on.